My greetings and best wishes to all of you. I am Mooki Sandhanam, translator of the book Gospel of Buddha, and U.G. Krishnamurti, A Life, as well as author of the Tamil book Sindhanai Adivayin Dinachidaran. My greetings and best wishes assume greater importance in the context of the pandemic that is gripping the entire world, including India, more so in India, where lakhs of people are falling victims to the merciless corona, the merciless monster corona. On one hand, the government is trying to do its best to avoid casualties. On the other hand, people are looking up to the sky for some miracle manna from heaven. I, being an insignificant cog in the human machinery, can only resort to sages to seek their guidance and solace to mitigate my suffering and sorrow. One such sage is Bhagavan Ramana Maharishi. I had already talked about other sages like Thaimanavar, Vadalar, and U.G. Krishnamurti. In a way, I am related to Ramana, not by blood. The 17-year-old boy, Venkatraman, underwent a biological change in his body, met with a near-death experience, and became a sage in his uncle's house at Madurai, which incidentally is my native place. He studied in Christian Mission School, in whose branch I also studied after 70 years. So Ramana is my senior in school, but more appropriately, my alma mater and my lifelong guide. Well, there ends the connection and comparison. Where is the 17-year-old sage and a 74-year-old ignoramus like me? I have chosen to speak in English because Ramana is no more confined to Thiruvannamalai. Long back he has become an international sage requiring international language and international audience. So, let me be allowed to speak in two parts on this Tamil sage Ramana. This proper essay starts. Sri Ramana Maharishi, the spiritual boxer. Madurai, one of the ancient and famous holy cities of the world, with its magnificent temple towers and wonderful sculptures, the abode of the parrot-kissing goddess Meenakshi, and the capital of Pandya kings, whose victorious fluttering flag bore the insignia of fish, gave birth recently to many famous artists like M.S. Subbulakshmi, the queen of Carnatic music, and one Somasundaram, the musical boxer. But before that, it also gave birth to a different boxer, Sri Ramana Maharishi, the spiritual boxer, who is the topic of my talk today. While the musician Madurai Somu, as he was endearingly called, filled our ears with his boxing-like music, Ramana Maharishi, who was also fondly called by the world as Ramana, filled our hearts with the divine teachings. While Somu dropped out of his boxing and took to music, Ramana was a school dropout. It is a little known fact that he was also a boy boxer in his school days. The dropping out of the two was for the benefit of the larger society. Ramana, in his 17th year, after an unusual incident in his uncle Subbayar's house, at the upstairs in Chakkappa Nayakar Street, Madurai in 1896, where he had the near-death experience and came back to life by a miracle, felt he was reborn. His troubling thoughts came to a standstill and some other higher force took possession of him. The simile he used about this strange experience was an elephant entering a hut. A new boy sage was finally born out of this old boy boxer. A comparison with another sage here is inevitable. U.G. Krishnamurti, who became simply U.G. later, had a similar violent experience on his 49th birthday in the year 1967 at Sanin Valley of Switzerland, and he was also reborn a sage free from the stranglehold of thought. It is quite fitting that this junior U.G. met the senior Ramana in Thiruvannamalai and had a spiritual encounter, which is vividly described in the book U.G. Krishnamurti, A Life by Mahesh Bhatt, later translated into Tamil by me, titled U.G. Krishnamurti, Or Vaalkai. About this later. Venkatraman, later called Ramana, after the above mentioned unusual experience, left quietly for Thiruvannamalai, whose name he heard it from one of his guests. Leaving a letter back home, which spoke about his departure for a good cause, he quietly reached Madurai railway junction. Though he was late by the clock, the train was also running late to take this boy ultimately to Thiruvannamalai, another famous abode of Lord Shiva, the seat of fire, one of the five elements. It is said that billions of years ago the whole mountain was a flame of fire. It was for generations housing many renunciates in its bubble-like caves inside the mountainous forests. At the end of the journey and on reaching the sanctorium of the Thiruvannamalai temple, Ramana said, "Father, I have arrived. Appa, naan vandu vittén," in Tamil. And ultimately the divine son became the spiritual father of the world. Later, with a lion cloth around his waist, he wandered from cave to cave and meditated and observed silence. For food, he went about the streets of Thiruvannamalai begging with his bare hands. Such was his total renunciation. Later, when his mother Alagammai came to know of the whereabouts of her lost son, she rushed to him and begged him to come back home. While observing Mauna, woe of silence, Ramana wrote his unwillingness both in Tamil and in English on a piece of paper, which runs like this. In Tamil, அவரவர் பிராப்த பிரகாரம் அதற்கானவன் ஆங்காங்கிருந்து ஆட்டுவிப்பான். என்றும் நடவாதது என் முயற்சிக்கினும் நடவாது. நடப்பது என் தடை செய்யினும் நில்லாது. இதுவே திண்ணம் ஆதலின் மௌனமாய் இருக்கை நன்று. In English, whatever is destined not to happen will not happen, however hard you may try. What is destined to happen will happen. Do what you may to stop it. This is Saturn. The best course, therefore, for one is to be silent. This is termed as Ramana's first Upadesa, that is his first teaching, in the form of this letter to his mother. Had he not given out any other teaching after this epistolary advice to his mother, this one teaching would have sufficed, from which all his lifelong Upadesas sprang. The silence in the above teaching has been given many interpretations, including one by Ramana himself. Silence is ceaseless eloquence, Ramana once observed. This silence is interrupted by speech, he further explained. Being a student of Christian school, Ramana came across the Old Testament, which contained the essence of wisdom. Be still and know that I am God. And another one, I am that I am. Being still is nothing but man's thinking mechanism coming to an end. When once the thought movement stops, which happens to only sages, then there is a state of not knowing. At that state, whatever the sage does is right, as Ramana later put it very effectively like this. The sage does not depend on virtue. In fact, virtue depends on him. As for the second statement of Bible, I am that I am, Ramana compared it to that thou art. Tattvamasi, one of the four Mahavakyas of Upanishads. This pregnant and surprising statement that the teaching of the entire Indian Vedas is contained in these two biblical statements only reveal that wisdom has no religious boundaries. In the same breath, he proclaimed, I do not belong to any school. That is, his role was to spread wisdom and not any particular religion. Ramana the mendicant wandered around the mountain, begged food from the houses down below and slept in caves. The way he lived and the few words he uttered in between his observance of silence drew many curious onlookers towards him. One such person was the highly learned Kavyagantha Ganapati Muni, a great Sanskrit scholar and a master of Indian Vedas and Upanishads. His chance meeting with this young Ramana and the profound answers he got from the boy for his challenging questions made him exclaim, Oh, you are a Maharishi. Thus, the once school dropout earned the holy name by which the world later endearingly called him. By Ganapati Muni's subsequent writings on this boy wonder in spiritual magazines brought many visitors from both inside and outside the country. Thus, the 10th standard dropout, who struggled with Alexander Bain's English grammar, was listened to with rapt attention. And many books were written on him in English, both by English authors and Indian authors. Some of them are A Search in Secret India, 2. A book by Arthur Osborne, 3. Reflections on Talks with Ramana Maharishi by S.S. Cohen. I had gone through all this with immense joy. The Search in Secret India by Paul Brenton made the world sit up and take notice of Ramana. Besides these foreigners, Indian writers wrote on Ramana in English. Among them, the book Self-Realization by Narasimha Sami is a classic. Another book, Day by Day with Bhagavan by Devaraja Mudaliar, which I also went through with great pleasure, contains the conversations of Ramana, which remains one of the Upanishadic teachings that took place between the teacher and the students. There is also a book translated from Telugu by Surinagam. Ramana's wisdom flowed from his inner self and not from his book, for he had no knowledge of them except his school day acquaintance. Let us listen to the horse mouth. Ramana, and I quote, I have read no books except the Periya Puranam, the Bible, and Thai Manavar, and some portions of Devara. I had never heard of Brahman or Samsara and so forth. I did not yet know that there was an essence or impersonal real underlying everything, and that Ishvara and I were both identical. Later at Tiruvannamalai, as I listened to the Ribhu Gita, which I also have read it with great joy, and the other sacred books, I learnt all this and found that the books were analyzing and naming what I had felt intuitively without analyzing and naming. Unquote. By no means a well-read man, Ramana later wrote spiritual poems. Some of them are Arunachala Aksharamalai, Ullodanarpadu, Undivara. He wrote them as per the wishes of his devotees. Of this, one couplet is etched in my memory. This is from Undivara, which means, let the fire of wisdom spread. There is a similar title in Thiruvasagam by Tamil sage Manikyavasaka. Ramana's couplet runs like this. உள்ளது உணர உணர்வு வேறின்மையின் உள்ளது உணர்வாக முந்தியவன, which rendered into English runs like this. Since there is no entity to be conscious of, what remains is only consciousness, and this consciousness is nothing but ourselves. This has come out succinctly in one of the incidents in his life. While he was taking a walk at the foot of the hill, his walking companion, Mr. Guy Hague, an American engineer, asked Ramana, how about helping others attaining jnana? Bhagavan Ramana turned and retorted, when you attain jnana, there are no others. Again, surprisingly, I found a matching sentence from another wise Tamil sage, Sivavakya. I can only quote the last sentence. சொல்லியார வெண்ணில் வேறு துணைவர் இல்லை ஆனதே, which means there is no other companion to share this. Being a Tamilian, I am enthralled to read my pet poet Taimanamar, who concurred with the above sage Ramana in his famous Parabarakanni. என்னது யான் எனல் அற்றோர் எங்கிருந்து பார்க்கினும் நின் சன்னதியாம் நீ பெரியசாமி பராபரமே. Wherever one looks, he sees only you, O great God. Ramana the boxer has knocked down some 30,000 questions in his 54 years of sainthood at Tiruvannamalai. I cannot do justice if I close this talk with this without touching upon these questions and answers. That is reserved for my second part. And for the first part, I thank you all.